No, I didn't. It's famous. Because she said that, she said to me, I think I thought, well, most of you said oh, and she was like, and I was like, I think it's but then like, I think she shot more than 10 goals. She shot like 19, I shot like 30. Maybe a bit less than, no, not 30, I shot like maybe like 26. So, oh, good job. I bet I shot, yeah, which is cool. I think you shot more than you said.
No, maybe it's just that because they were a bit rougher.
Did you see my long shot?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that was so good. Me and Taylor were like, ooh, you and Isabel don't work well together. Yeah, but I didn't know if she's not allowed to play. I like being there with you. Yeah, I can't wait to play with you again. But then Edie comes out with her. Yeah, and I was like, you're not going to get rid of it. Because we're all going to try it out. Yeah. Like all the under 13s except for Stella and Ari are going to come try it out. And then you guys will all be trying it. And I'm like, you're not going to get it. Because only three, no. Isabel will go up. Stella. Stella might have to play next set. Oh no. Look at Jessie, she's shooting again. Isabel's out. Just like a lot of golf.
Probably Jessie might be playing golf. She might be doing it for someone else. That's what it is. So sometimes they actually put her in queue.
Yeah, I know. They did on Christmas in July. And I remember her saying, she was like, you know, she is not today. Yeah, what a goat. She's like, I get to play goals. She's a good shooter. Because she's like really fast, so she plays centre. And she's good. That's Jordan. Has Jordan been coming over recently?
No, because Mum and Dad are back.
Yes. Well,
Hi, John. Sorry, I just got.
that's on? Yep. I can't wait to see you again because it's the grand final. The grand final. Today? No, like the grand final, like we both
So people will come up.
How do you know that?
Saline. Yeah, and I can interview them.
Oh.
Nice to meet you.
Oh. No, wasn't it? Shit.
Won't be doing any of that. So can we pick it up? Hello everybody and welcome to the A grade match against Minyip Murtoa versus Ararat. It's a pretty special day here. Down at Alexandra Oval we have our 50-year netball reunion that we're celebrating today, and we're very thankful for the Wimmera and for filming footy for prioritising, is that how I say it, Tony?
Prioritising, we'll go with that.
A netball match and going live stream. So this is a first, I think, Tani.
Yeah, it is. It's rather exciting too. The girls are pretty excited about it. They're actually just excited for the 50 years of netball and getting to showcase our talents today with a bigger crowd, I suppose.
I'm sorry I didn't introduce our guest speaker for the start is Coach Tani Walker, formerly known as Tani Waterson, who is a stalwart at the club. What year did you first play at the club, Tani?
I think it was 96 or 95 I filled in for one game, and then you wrote me over the line at basketball one week to say come play for the Rats, and you were my coach for the first year, and what a great experience, and I've never left, Megs.
And we're grateful that you've hung around, Tani. So it's a pleasure to see you grow, coach as a junior and also then as a senior, and now you're putting back into the club too as a grade coach with Jess Taylor. What are your thoughts on today's game?
Oh, look, I think both teams are pretty keen to get the win today. They've had a bit of a mixed start, but for us it's been a good start, lots of positive signs, and I think we just need to start putting a few more things together and we'll get the win over the line. Hopefully today on our 50th anniversary we can do it for the club.
After watching them last week, they only just got pipped by Southern Valley Giants. They played an exceptional 4 quarters, and they was only in the dying minutes that it swayed for 2 goals. But you actually were short in your defence, but your defence stepped up. How are you feeling? Well, that must be great that you've got some versatility in the defence end.
Yeah, I think this year's team is awesome in that we can play a lot of players in lots of different positions. Jen Bush particularly, she hasn't owned a spot yet. She's played in nearly every spot on the court, and well and truly holds her own. But this week we have what's her name? Forget. Bree back this week. Well, momentarily gone laps there. She had her 21st birthday last week, and she's been a big inclusion into our defensive end. She plays with Georgie Eastick, who's swung from attack end when she played with us last, now to defence, and she's our captain. But the two of them in the ring are a formidable force to be reckoned with Julia at wing defence. But then when Jen can step in sometimes, we're a very versatile team this year.
I was really impressed with Georgie Peel last week, formerly known as Georgie Eastick. She was a junior. She actually played in the 2002 grand final. She was a 17 under, and she was asked to qualify and step up. And she went away after a couple of years with juniors, stepping in for that A grade side. Then she went out to Moyster Malora, and she's back at the club this year. Her maturity and the way she led the team last week was very impressed.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. She was voted unanimously by the girls very early on in the pre-season to be our captain, as they think that she's fair, but she's also a great voice and a great team leader. It also meant that Jess Taylor can concentrate on her game instead of having to be the captain and the coach. So it's great to have 3 leaders in our team this year, because what one doesn't have, the other offers the team, I suppose. So, yeah, our goal for this year is to remain patient and apply pressure at every point, and no easy pass. So that's our goal for this season, and I think we're starting to put that into 4 quarters now.
Tony, we better let you go. The game's just started. So, Tony, if you head back down to the coach's box, you might want to send a few past players up and we can interview them throughout the game, if that's okay.
Sure can. Thanks, Megan.
Good luck, Tons. It's just started with a turnover on Minyip Murtoa Centre. We had a turnover in the goal circle by Bree and Georgie Easter at goal defence. We've got Annie Shays taking a shot and converted, so it's 1-0. So that was a big turnaround, a good start, and hopefully Jessie Bly steps into the centre now. Nice pass from Annie Shay, a bounce from Taylor into the goal circle. Delaney McLaughlin, who's another junior who's stepped up into A grade, has just converted too. So we've got 2-0 at the start of the game. A nice take by the goal attack, Minyip Murtoa, and she's converted too. So I don't know many Minyip Murtoa names at the moment. I might ask someone maybe from Minyip Murtoa, try and get them up onto the microphone to help us out here. Lovely lob from Shay into McLaughlin. And McLaughlin converts too. The score is 3-1. A nice hold by the Minyip Murtoa goal attack, and the shooter's just converted. So we've got 3-2. Ararat centre, taken by Taylor. And we've just got Kate Bly, who's just come to the microphone. We welcome Kate Bly, who's a stalwart at the club too. Was over a 200 club member of A-grade games, and she's coaching our baby rats this year in the 13 and unders. She has Jessie Bly, her daughter's playing in the centre, and Kate's a formidable wing attack centre player in her day. And welcome, Kate.
Thank you very much.
How'd you go today, Kate, with the baby rats?
We had a really good game today. They actually combined really beautifully and had a pretty big win, which was a bonus.
Talking about your daughters, it's in the blood, obviously, netball. Do you want to talk us through what age the girls are and where they're playing?
Oh, goodness. Jessie's 20 and she plays A grade for the Rats. So I have 17-year-old twins. They both play under 17s. And Andy's my baby. She's 12 and she plays the under 13s, which I coach.
Kate, so it's great that we've got you still at the club, and hopefully your girls will go on to create as many memories and as much fun and have as much loyalty as what you have to the club. Some memories from your time as a player at the club?
Oh, there's far too many. Just the people around the club and the friendships that I've made are probably the best memories that I can think of at the moment. There's a lot of stories that I probably can't tell on this one, but we have had such a great time at the club and some beautiful people around us, which is awesome.
And looking forward to tonight, Kate?
Very much so. I can't wait.
Kate's currently the manager and the first aid for the A grade, so we might let her go and she can go and tap somebody else on the shoulder to come up and talk to us too, if that's okay. Thanks very much, Kate, for your time.
Thanks, Megs.
We've just had another turnover by Ararat in the Minyip Murtoa attack end. The scores are 4-all. We've just had a turnover though, it's gone back the other way. We've had a contact by McLaughlin in the goal circle, so it's been sent back down. Some lovely passing by Minyip Murtoa. It's about 2 big long passes and it's come down the court. Currently the tall goal attack is in the lovely pass into a shoot underneath the ring. And the scores are currently 4-all. Quite a physical game. Boatman's trying hard to keep position on the circle. And Minyip have converted and are now leading 5-4. Beautiful pass by Taylor to Bly on the ring. Again, lovely use of the circle by McLaughlin. And converts 5-all. Some beautiful space in the Ararat attack end. And pressure by Jessie Bly causes an offside on the Minyip ring, which brings Ararat starting to bring the ball down the court. Lovely use of space. Lovely backup by Boatman. And another lovely lob into McLaughlin. She's starting to use her space very well in the ring. Lots of space that she's allowing for some lovely creative passing to happen. I saw Delaney has been working on this in her game. Oops, it got in the goal circle and now it's been taken back out. I am going to welcome Kira Payne to the microphone. Kira was a junior with the Rats in the late 1990s and also in the 2000s, and she stepped up with Georgie Eastick as a baby Rat and was qualified as a 17 under in the A grade side in 2002, which had a very tough game up at Dimbulla against Warwick Nabil. Which we just got up. So just Kira's made the trip down from, I'll get her to explain where she's from and who she's currently playing with. Up at, is it Yarrawonga?
Yes, yeah, just recently moved to Yarrawonga, just there at Lake Mawela, beautiful spot, and yeah, playing netball for Tokamul.
And you've had some success up there too, Kiz, haven't you?
Yeah, going pretty good. Had a few wins, which I've been very lucky enough to be playing with a great bunch of girls, so yeah.
I think playing with a great bunch of girls does help, so you can probably want to reflect on your time with Ararat, and I think the social side and the connectedness amongst the team does help with success. Would you agree? Absolutely,
yeah. Just playing and having that team bond, playing so nicely, playing so well with the girls. The friendships that you create just makes netball so much more enjoyable, and that's where success comes from, is just being around a great bunch of girls.
You're a handy basketballer too, like Tani Waterson, so did basketball and netball sort of mishmash together help with your skills?
Yeah, there was a few challenges moving from basketball to netball, but yeah, definitely the same concept of skills, balance, and all that. So yeah, it definitely has helped with my netball.
I was super impressed too that, Kiz, when you knew that you were coming up for the reunion and you were making the effort to come up Thursday night, you had touch base to see whether you could come down to training. How was training on Thursday with the Rats?
It was awesome. Great insight to see Jess Williamson take training, and yeah, it was awesome to have a run with the girls, and yeah, just learning different things from what other people have learnt over the years. Yeah, so it's been good.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What's some of your most memorable moments with the Ararat Football Netball Club?
Under 17s, I think playing with Georgie, that's been a great memory through juniors. The 2009 grand final in A grade was probably my highlight. That was just an awesome day and night. So.
And it's, I think, not just the netball, I think it's the celebrations later on, then creating your own fun, and very lucky to win premiership.
Yes, they don't come lightly, so I've been very lucky to be able to have this connection with the Ararat Football Netball Club, to be able to be a part of a premiership team. definitely a great way to come back to a club and share that celebration.
You need to keep playing, kids, and keep playing for as long as you can, and we appreciate your time today, and just wondering whether you could tap someone else on the shoulder when you go back. I can see Rebecca Scrabble walking around, or maybe Arduino Delgado to come up to the microphone. That would be really good.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, look forward to catching up with you later on.
Yeah, sounds good.
For those who are listening at home too, we've just gone to a 14-7 lead Ararat's way, so been some great passages of play while I was talking to Kira Payne. Ararat has the centre. The attack end is utilising Delaney McLaughlin's height to their full advantage, and Shea has just received a pass from McLaughlin in the circle, and the lead goes to 15-7. Great pressure by Julia Boatman has just created, there's been a step in the centre which has turned the ball over. Back into from Bly to Shea, under the ring, and scores. So the score's now 16-7. Currently have Arduino Delgado or Arduino Homburg that's going to now talk. I'm not sure. I think Arduino was late 70s and maybe 80s, and she's come down today to watch the A-grade game and is coming tonight as well. So welcome to the microphone, Arduino.
Oh, thank you, Megan. Very exciting, very appreciative of being asked to come and speak, and very happy memories of terrific times and a lot of success. So some of my best friends are from my Ararat days, so it's actually carried me through life. And we're a very successful team, and we've got a very bright future. So thanks, Megan.
Arduino, can you step us through juniors, seniors, and what teams and what age groups did you play? And any premierships or finals that you made? So they all mishmash.
Well, it's interesting, Megan, because Trudy and I have just had lunch together, and we were trying to recall years and everything. What I do recall is I did 6 years with Ararat, from 17 to 23. My recollection is played in 6 premierships. Winning 3 and losing 3, I believe. I think we won 2 against Horsham, 1 against Warwick Nabil, and lost the others against Horsham. But I haven't researched, and it's a long time ago.
So premierships are hard to come by, so it's a fair effort to win 3. Arduino, you've been also a big help with helping with tonight with some memorabilia as well. And have you got any past players that you're keen to catch up with tonight?
So I think one of the a thing that needs to probably be mentioned is Jane Hooper, who has travelled by car from Sydney to be here tonight. I think that's a massive effort, and Jane is very invested in Ararat, even though she lives in Sydney.
What year positions did Jane play?
Well, yeah, sorry. I haven't researched enough, but Jane will be able to fill that part in. She's not here at the minute, but she may call down. If you're listening, Jane, pop down. Trudy was going to catch up and see whether she would come down and watch a game. Definitely looking forward to tonight. Look, to be honest, I'm just grateful to catch up with anyone, especially after the last few years we've had. It is so nice for everyone to be together and celebrate such a wonderful achievement. Everybody.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and Arduino, great to see you here at the court today. Looking forward to lots of catch-ups later on. I'm just wondering if you could maybe tap Janine Adams or Tracy Laidlaw or Mon Scott even to come up next. That'd be great. Thank you, Arduino.
Thanks, Megan. Have a great day.
Currently score is 19-10. Ararat's just taken a rebound in the defence under the circle, missed shot by Minyip Murtoa. Eastick and Taylor to Bly, into the circle Annie Shea. She's been quite versatile and using her agility and her speed. She gets a goal just before the first quarter break, and the score is 20-10. I'll just take a little bit of a break while we've got the quarter time. I don't know, we're talking too much. Is that off now? I'm just wondering if someone can give me that. This is all new, kids.
So do I. Mum, you don't find mine for me, Mum. I'll just pay for it. No, I got lots of money. Are you sure? Yes.
I need you.
I'm not wasting money on Addie. Shut up. Yes,
Addie, do you get some? Can you ask Kate to take a photo of the scorebook?
Yep.
So I can talk. I know the Minyip Murtoa girls' names. Get her to send it to my phone, please.
Place down here, all the way around the grass area.
How are they watching this on there? Oh, me too.
You want to tell me?
It's got a solid dog on the chair.
Do you want one? You right? Saline?
She's going to pick them up there.
Go that way.
I can sit here.
Sit on there. Sit. Oh, I can take and play heaps. Oh, you need the...
Welcome back. Minyip Murtoa have the centre. As I said earlier, the score is 20-10. And Georgie Eastig's just caused an error. We've got a free pass happening in the goal in the defence end. I'm just going to welcome Janine Adams to the microphone. Janine was my first year as coach of 17 and B grade. I decided to coach 2 teams in my first coaching experience, and Janine was a goal shooter with the B grade. Janine, looking forward to tonight?
I certainly am, Megan. And probably the thing I remember the most, I was in the inaugural under-17 team.
I'm going through some slideshows that we put together for tonight. You're featuring quite a lot. So, Janine, you want to talk about your juniors when you started with the club and some of your coaches and players that you played with?
Yep. Well, in that first year, Pat Dunn was the coach of the under-17, a folklore in the club. She was fantastic. I suppose I remember about that. In those days, we used to travel to Ararat, which was a very long trip for an early morning netball game. I remember the girls I played with, Barbara Dempster, Wendy Dunn, whose mum was our coach, Jane Hooper, Delwyn Graham. Going to forget a few here, but it was a fantastic experience. And one thing, seeing I'm on air, I would really like to thank my older sister who drove me to every game that season. So it was a big commitment with the distance we had to travel.
I distinctly remember Ararat's court. It was like playing uphill and not a great surface to play on, and it was surrounded by like cow sheds, chook sheds and...
No, it wasn't. The goals were a little bit wonky in those years too.
I think one fell down one year, didn't it?
Honestly, I can't remember. Could have.
Janine, your love for netball then reflected to junior netball in Ararat, and you've been, along with Tracy Laidlaw, set up junior netball at the high school courts, and you're actually been instrumental in giving the foundations to a lot of Ararat's netballers with the junior netball. Is that currently still going, or how long did you do that for? Or you want to just sort of reflect on your time with the Ararat junior netball?
Again, I was lucky to follow some great traditions of junior netball. We used to have 8 to 12s and then under 16s. So it was probably about 22 years I was involved with that. It's a little bit unfortunate, as what with other junior sport, it's very hard to get kids to play. I don't know whether because they're playing on Saturday, but I mean in my day we used to do both. But anyway, so now it's mainly coaching for juniors, getting them up to the stage to actually play games.
I think also you provide netball to some juniors too in the sort of spring, summer when the football netball sort of season finishes too. So you're giving lots of Ararat locals an opportunity to continue to play and keep their love going through the summer too. Your Tracy Laidlaw and yourself played for many years. Do you want to reflect on your relationship with Tracy? And she was down one end and you were down the other, and you were her sort of secret squirrel. She played many years pregnant.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a secret we were keeping, but she played till she was almost 5 months pregnant because we made the finals, and it was really weird. But sort of the week before the preliminary final, all of a sudden she was having a lot of trouble doing that skirt up, and she had to buy a bigger skirt. And I don't know what people thought, because it was fairly obvious by then that something was going on. But no, she did a great job playing.
Well, back in the day, people used to play, didn't they, a lot. Now, you get a sniff of being pregnant, and they don't see a lot of females keeping active. With, I guess it's got a lot more physical too, and the netball, a lot of umpiring allows a lot of contesting. Back in our day, it probably wasn't as much.
I'd definitely say that. It's definitely got a lot more contact going on. Definitely, I'm watching this game today, and I'm really impressed actually with the work around the ring by the wing attacks and wing defences and centres. They're doing a great job.
For those, we've been talking 26 to 12 Ararat's way, and as Janine reflected, the attack ends combining beautifully. We saw, and Georgie Easticks just nearly taken an interception in the goal circle, a creative pass by the shoot from Murtoa. And they've scored, so it's now 26 to 13. What else are you looking forward to today, Janine?
I'm really looking forward to, I've had a quick look at the table settings, and I'm looking forward to catching up with some people who were in that initial under-16 team for Ararat back in 1977. So that's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to today. And the other thing, Megan, I have to say, I'm a very disappointed Collingwood netball fan at the moment. Being an inaugural member of that team, supporter, not a player. Yeah, I'm just so sad that they're no longer going. But anyway.
You have made lots of trips and you've been a very loyal supporter there, and that reflects your passion for netball, Janine, too. So thank you very much for coming out today.
Thanks, Megan.
It scores now 26 to 14, and I'm going to call upon another player. He's taking a bit of a spell this season. Hopefully not for too long this season, hoping that Sheilie's going to come back. I've got Mon Scott. If anyone doesn't know Mon Scott, she was a junior and an A-grade player, and she's having a bit of a rest before the birth of her first child. Welcome, Mon.
Hello, Megs. How's it going?
Good, thank you. Mon is a beautiful wing defender, also a goal defender, and is a centre court player. I've had the pleasure of coaching her as well. They are missing you, A-grade this year, but we're going to give you 2 weeks after the birth of your first child. Are you happy with that agreement?
Yeah, actually, I've been looking at the draw and figuring out which game to come back, and actually eyeing off the stall game a little bit.
Which is really exciting for us. It should be great to have you back out there. The girls are doing well, though, but they would welcome you back too. When did you start at the club, Mon? Can you remember?
What was I? I would have been... It's 2011. That was my first year.
And can you remember who your first junior coach was, or some of your coaches during the juniors?
So Tracy Laidlaw was my first. Then I think it was my mother. Yep. And then Scrubs and you were one. And yeah, I've had Scrubs has been my coach probably the last 4 years, 5 years.
Those that don't know Scrubs, her name's Rebecca Scrub. We'll hopefully get her up to the phone, up to the microphone shortly too. Mon, you've been down at some trainings too, keeping your hands on the ball in your chuckies and your Ugg boots.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely got itchy feet pretty much from the time I was pregnant, so as much as I can get down there, I will.
You know you're going to have lots of babysitters as well. Mon actually, was it a one or a runners-up with the Wimmera Junior Best and Fairest too, so it was a very successful junior player.
Yeah, there's a few trophies at home. I can't remember what year's what, but yeah, there's a few.
And you've played, growing up, playing basketball and netball with a great bunch of girls. So Taylor Borelli, who's a shooter. Anyone else that you've played a lot of netball with that you've enjoyed playing netball with?
Yeah, so for juniors it was me, Tay and Abby Moore. We pretty much, grew up, and then we had your daughter, Annie Shea, and the younger years. That was always a good team when that lined up. And then now with Jess Willow and Jessie Bly, I've been playing with pretty much all me A-grade career.
What was just sort of with your talk then, there's been a lot of rotations with a lot of players over this last decade, whereas I was just reflecting on the decade before that, we sort of had a set A-grade side that didn't change too much. It'd be nice looking at this side today and the way that they're gelling. We've got a lot of youth there, and if we welcomed you back, that you guys could be the next one that could get Ararat back into an A-grade grand final. Do you think that's possible?
Definitely big shoes to fill from your era, Meeks, but no, definitely the difference in just everyone's playing, like watching Lainey, she's always so strong, and not having Raquel in the team, watching the defenders play a completely different game is very, very exciting to watch.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could talk Raraki one year coming back. So that's Mon's mentioned her sister Raquel Scott, who is a runner-up in the A-grade Best and Fairest last year, I think, and a formidable defence player. She's headed down where, Mon? Where's she playing now?
She's playing at Bowen Heads at the moment, and loving it down there.
Yeah. Nice to have a change. You don't and it makes you realise sometimes that the grass isn't over greener on the other side. But she's also playing with Alexandra, who's a past player. Alex is in the attack end, is she?
Yep, she's a goalie down at Bowen.
So what's the thoughts on the game so far? Those that are listening at home, it's 30 to Ararat to 17 to Minyip Murtoa. Ararat's causing a lot of errors in the defence end, in the Minyip Murtoa attack end, and it has been coming down the court beautifully on most occasions, and Ararat's converting. So your thoughts, Mon?
Yeah, I think the defence is very, very physically is tight, but Lainey hasn't missed, I don't think. She's shooting really well, and they're converting off the turnovers, which is really good to see. And the way they're bringing it down, they've obviously tightened that up heaps since the first game.
We might get Mon to go and practice some mother duties and tag Rebecca Scrubble, who's just had a baby. So we'd just like to thank Mon for coming, and hopefully you enjoy the night tonight too.
Thanks, Meeks.
Back to the game, we've got Minyip Murtoa have just sent it into their goal circle. I've got a list of Minyip Murtoa girls now, I think. Just get my phone up so I can... Minyip Murtoa have caused an error. It's coming back down the court. Big pass across the circle from the Minyip Murtoa centre into the goal attack, and they've converted. So we've got 30 to Ararat 19, and we've got the Borough centre. I know a few faces from this Minyip Murtoa lineup. I'm just trying to bring up their score sheet so I can put some names to faces. Ararat has it in the goal circle. Lovely hang by the keeper. Shea converts. She's been shooting beautifully from mid-range, as well as been feeding the tall, strong Delaney McLaughlin. Did make comment to Delaney a couple of weeks ago that she's been working really hard in the gym. Quite tall, but she's really worked on her muscle too. She's quite hard to defend now that she's got that muscle on her. and very, very hard to get around her. It's a beautiful netball body, and Shea converts again and the score goes to 32-20. Lots of defensive pressure, and Bly just taps the ball out of court. Minyip Murtoa starting to look a little bit tired. And trying to talk Tina Gibson, who is one of the first players in the very first hour outside, to come up to the microphone. And we just need to, we're up on a hill at the moment, so it's a bit hard to get some of these people up the hill. Just had another, caused an error in the centre court by Ararat's great defensive pressure. McLaughlin's just converted. It's now 33-21. It's a beautiful day here too. Great netball weather. Sun's out. Everyone complains it's usually cold, wet and rainy here, but it's not. We've turned it on for our reunion. The gods have helped us here. I'm actually thinking of taking my jacket off. Ararat's just being really patient at the moment, working it around the ring. Beautiful to see, nice patience, not panicky at this stage. Missed shot by Shea, rebound by Minyip Murtoa. Julia Boatman's playing well. Last week she took a fall on the court up at Beulah and has got a broken bone currently in her hand. Had a bit of a look at it before the game, nice and black and blue, but she seems to be coping well. She said she'll be fine as long as she doesn't fall over again. Eastick and Bree have caused an error in the goal circle, and Minyip Murtoa passed it at the back of the court, so Ararat will have a throw in. Minyip Murtoa had a missed catch there. The sun got in their eyes. As I said before, not used to the sun being out here. Beautiful passing by Taylor, Jess Taylor. Across the ring to Bly to Shea, and Shea converts. It's 34-22. The defence of coming back and double teaming the shooter, which is causing a lot of passes around the circle in the Minyip Murtoa attack end. So once again, some great defence by Eastick and Bree. Georgie Eastick is quite, what was the word? Lovely defender, very smart play. Gets herself into position on an attacker well before the ball comes down the court. So has worked really hard to get her defenders out of position, and both the defence with Bree had been a key in Ararat getting to 35-23 at half time. We'll take a bit of a spell while it's half time.
Born to do that. You should do that more.
I'll just ask you a question about your game this morning. Yeah, it's really fine. Just kept getting back on it. We have to get to lunch with this. I want to go back to Sparta as well. Should have got noisy. Don't get noisy to come through. Alright, and come back. Yep. Get noisy as well. I'm trying to read this score sheet. I have to go. I've got to go right on 1:30. No, I've got to go about 20 past 1. Is that alright? I might do it to 3/4 time it blows out, or not, hopefully it doesn't.
So what I just did,
Hello girls, how are you? Megan, you'll have to come down here. I'll come down. Oh, up to the side, yeah. Oh, wow.
Sorry about that. Just the way it goes sometimes. Thanks. Bye. You can interview anytime you want. It'll come through. Yeah, take it.
All right, welcome back. We've got the third quarter. Ararat's leading 35-23. We've got Minyip Murtoa Centre. At the microphone now I have Janine Williamson, who also is a junior, I think in the 80s, and also has played in A-grade premiership and has family playing football and netball, and Jess is currently playing her daughter. So welcome to the microphone, Janine.
Thanks, Megan.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your history at the club, Janine, what you can remember?
Well, that's a good point because I can't remember a lot, but was a junior at the club. Played in a few premierships as a junior, I think. I think my first coach might have been Slug, but I can't really remember. I know Donna Sporting played a big part in my netball. And then, yeah, obviously left the club and had some children, 4 children, and then came back after that and had a year in A grade and won a premiership with Megan. So that's sort of my background.
That was, I think, 1997. Janine was in the centre court then, and our coach was Snail. For those that are listening, we've heard probably Slug and Snail mentioned our little garden pests, really, aren't they? But Snail is Gail Dadsall, who's a stalwart with the club and a phenomenal shooter and a coach, and also Slug was Gail Dunn, who also coached and was a fantastic centre court player as well. Janine, pretty proud today to be watching Jess, who's one of your twin daughters and also a co-coach with Tani Walker.
Yeah, no, it's good to get Jess. I guess both my girls had a upbringing of basketball and have lately switched over to netball. Jess has. So, yeah, it's good to see her in the red and white. And also Laurie. Laurie plays today in C grade. So, and having Tom back at the club playing football. So that's, yeah, it's a real good connection now with all the kids playing.
And you must be very proud of that as well. I think too, Janine stepped away from the club for a little bit too when the kids were young. Your commitment to the girls with their basketball with Melbourne Tigers. Do you want to give us a bit of background on Jess and Courtney's basketball background? Because you can see elements of Jess's basketball coming into a netball game.
Yeah, I guess when Courtney was in grade 6, she made a Victorian team, schoolgirls team, and that sort of started our basketball journey. And from there, we went to Melbourne every Friday night to watch them play for the both of them play for the Melbourne Tigers. So a lot of our weekends were taken up in Melbourne, watching them play on a Friday night.
I think too, history at the club from mums and dads, and also your husband. Ellie was a stalwart and a great senior player too, so there's a lot of rich history with your family.
Yeah, even going back to Dad, I guess he played for Ararat as well. So, yeah.
His name,
Bluey Richards, was my father. So, can't really remember Dad playing for Ararat, but, and then obviously Alistair, we married in 91, I think. Followed his football career here as well, and
So obviously you can see there great role modelling from Ali and Janine to their kids, and they're all back at the club. And Tom's come back from Carlton to play. I know my son, who's been playing with him this season, is very excited to have him as a leader and a role model back at the club too. How's Tom fitted back in?
Yeah, really well. He's loved being back in Ararat and back at home, and he's always. I think it's been a dream of him to play with Ararat seniors. I think he did play a game before he did do the rebel stuff. Really passionate about the Ararat Football Club, which has obviously been drummed into him through family. But he's really enjoying his time back here.
So thank you, Janine, and it's great that your kids are all playing today. I think a few people have been trying to get Courtney to come from Geelong to come and have a game too.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure she's back playing basketball, but you never know. Hopefully Court's listening, and shout out to Court down in Geelong. Yeah.
Thanks, Janine. Enjoy tonight.
Thanks, Meg.
Those that are listening, thank you for listening to us. The score is currently 41-28. We've got Ararat leading. Again, lots of errors have been caused by the defence end, by the likes of Bree and by Georgie. And now we've got Jen Bush has come on into wing defence too. We're going to change the tune a little bit, and we've got two baby rats at the club. I'm going to welcome, they're going to giggle probably the whole way through this interview, as you can hear. We've got Stella Fratton, who's playing her first year in the 13 unders. If you don't know Stella, she is the third generation netballer. Her grandmother, Julie Todd, was a phenomenal shooter back in the 70s and the 80s, and then her mum, Brianne Todd, was a junior through the club too, and she's currently and also a phenomenal player, junior player. Her career was cut short with a really dicky shoulder, so Brianne's turned her forte to coaching. Stella, welcome to the microphone.
Hello.
Stella, tell us about your game this morning. So nice and bright and early. And did you have a win?
Yes, we did. We mercy ruled.
We never had a mercy rule back in our day. So if you don't know what that is now, I think it's when you get 20 goals in front that they...
It's 30.
30 goals in front. Yeah. What part of the game did you mercy rule today?
3.
In the third quarter. That's fair. What position have you been playing, Stella?
Goal, attack the first quarter, and then goal shooter for the rest.
You've grown up around the club as a little baby, coming to the club and mucking around. Is it a bit different being a player and not just a socialite?
Yeah, it's better.
How are you coping with the early mornings with your away trips? What's the earliest you've had to leave?
Maybe 6:30, I think.
Yep. You struggle with that, or you're just too excited to play netball?
I'm too excited.
Stella's obviously just come out of the junior netball too with Janine Adams, who was up here talking before. You used to play Tuesday night netball before you come to the Rats?
Yeah, with Tracy.
And Tracy Laidlaw too. We might try and get her up onto the microphone too. I've also got Claire Sladden, who is a 15 under player, a first year 15 under goal shooter as well.
Third year under 13.
So she's still under 13. She looks like a 15-year-old. This girl looks like to be a promising junior player as well. And is a lot of family tradition with the Sladdens. So Sladdens at the Ararat Football Club. What family members have played at Ararat? Can you remember, Nosy?
Dad, Pop, and my brother, Reuben.
Yeah, so we've got Graham or Tars Sladden, who is Nosy's grandfather, and Jack Sladden. And they've been around the club for years to come. Your grandfather, Tars, was a phenomenal full forward. So we're hoping that Nosy's playing in the attack end. She's going to take some of Tars's skills in the full forward and put them onto the netball court, aren't we, Nosy?
Yeah.
What positions did you play today, Nosy?
I played goal shooter in the first quarter and then goal attack for the rest.
You're actually quite a tall player too. Do you find that's helping having a bit of height advantage in the ring?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get the ball because I can just hold behind and I can rebound really easily.
You need to start practicing using your body to your advantage and holding and creating space in Aussie, but that'll come over time. But what I've seen, you've got lots of potential. You and little Stella Fratton here. Who's going to be big games, do you know, this year? Who's going to be some of the tougher teams?
Both of the Horsham teams and Stall.
Arch rival Stall. How'd you go in the first game against them?
We played pretty well, but it was really wet, so we stepped a lot and the ball kept flying out of our hands, but we lost.
That's great that you've identified where you've got to improve. So stepping on the court on a rainy day too, it was quite a horrific day here that day. So hopefully it's nice and dry next time and you work on your stepping and you can get over the line.
Yeah.
Stella and Norsey, have you been in to have a look at some of the memorabilia inside?
Yeah, we saw some of the trophies.
Yep. Hopefully one day you two are holding that up or drinking out of something like the Rose Bowl.
Yes. Hopefully.
Stella, do you talk to your grandma and your mum about stories with the netball club?
Not really, but Mum's told me a few things about. But Nan's nan didn't used to play for Rats, but she still played netball.
Yeah, so that's Stella's great-grandma, Eileen. What's her last name? Eileen Clark. So the Clarks were phenomenal too at the Ararat Football Club. And Auntie Eileen, I'm going to call her, she was good friends with Pat Dunn, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And Pat Dunn was one of the first coaches to win a premiership at the Ararat Football Netball Club in the 70s and coached for phenomenal years. Enjoy today, girls. Just be amongst it all and realise how special the club is that you are playing for.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, girls. Lovely to see you. The score is currently 45-35. While we've been chatting to the little baby rats, there's been a bit of a turnaround. Dare say Murtoa might have outscored Ararat so far in this quarter, making a little bit of a comeback. Just from bringing the ball down the court with the Rats, are doing some beautiful long passes into the space. And as I just said that, we've just thrown one out of the back of the court. I said earlier, Ararat had made a change to bring Genevieve Bush onto wing defence, and Julia Boatman has gone off. I'm just hoping her hand's okay. Beautiful interception by Jessie Bly, but she's fallen out of court as she's taken that. Jen Bush was a junior in the 15 and unders many years ago. Jen's mother, Saline, is our netball director, and her dad, Nick Bush, has come back to Ararat and is our CEO of our local hospital. So Jen's decided to come back and play with the Rats, and she tried out and obviously was selected in the A grade side. So nice to see her past junior come back to the club. And last week was one of the best games I saw her play, and she went to go into goalkeeper. Shay just shooting. Laney's just McLaughlin's taken a rebound and converted. So the score is 46-36, Borough Centre. I think Minyip have made some changes too at half time, and that's had a bit of an impact in the game. 10 goals is not a comfortable amount of goals to call a game yet. To Murtoa's credit, they've regrouped at the court at half time. Strong take by the goal shooter. I think they've swapped their shooter as well. Nice passing by Jen Bush to Taylor. Ararat's just steadied it a little bit, passing back into the centre third when their attack end hasn't had time to set up. And I'm going to welcome Saleen Bush, who's our netball director, to the microphone. Great to have you in your second year as netball director. Saleen, would you like to talk us through the last year and a bit?
Meg, well, I think I'd like to begin with saying, look, Megan, it's been an absolute delight. I have loved this role. I think when I was asked to do it, it wasn't on my radar at all, but when I was approached, I thought that is exactly what I would like to do. It's a fantastic group of girls. I think we're moving. We've got great coaches, great players, and a fantastic support network around us. So I think it's all positive and all onwards and upwards with the Rats. So, yeah, it's been really good. And tonight is just an absolute highlight of the season. So we're very excited about our celebrations tonight, and we've got a lot to celebrate and be thankful for.
Saleen's been a breath of fresh air to the club. It's quite exciting to have her take on the role as netball director, just to have some different outlooks. And Saleen's put a lot of effort into tonight's reunion as well. And Saleen has her daughter Jen back at the club, and also her younger daughter Pips played a game a couple of weeks ago. How's it been as a mum having your girls come back, and what years were they juniors?
Oh, Megan, that's a very good question. Jen was a junior here in must have been the middle 2000s, maybe 15, 16, 17 and 18, or maybe three years. No, not 18. Anyway, she came here, and she actually came here from Tadayun, and we wanted her to play. We wanted two things. We wanted her to play Wimmera League, and actually at the time, Megan, you were coaching the 15s, and we thought we wanted to be coached by Megan Shea. So that got us moving, and then to play a higher standard of netball was really important to us. And then, of course, Philippa spent 2 years at the club, and then she played a little bit last year. I would love to have her come back as well. Really, I love the girls playing for the Rats. They love it. We're all pretty keen on it, and hopefully one day we might even get the two of them in the same team, which would be really nice. So we'd be really excited about that.
If anyone doesn't know the Bush girls, they're both excellent tennis players, and you can see that when you watch Pip and Jen, their agility, obviously from their tennis. I just want to mention the Tadayun Netball Club there. We've actually had a few Tadayun girls come across to play Wimmera League netball. We've got the Aspreys that have come and played. We've got a great relationship with that club. It's great that they've acknowledged and wanted to come and play that in a higher league and play some better netball. I think the Asprey girls were picked in some Wimmera sides as well. And then we used to have practice matches against the Tadayun girls, and we'd sort of work collaboratively together to help each other make the finals. So would you agree that there was a good relationship there?
I think there's a fantastic relationship, Megan, and I think it's great. We want to support all teams around us. Tadayun they've got a rich history and successful history like us. So we've got mutual respect, and I also think too, being an Ararat club, with the Ararat Eagles, we're working on creating a really good bond with that club as well. And they've got a lot of success on the court, a lot of talented players. So I think we want to work with the clubs around us.
Couldn't agree more. Work with each other and respect each other. And I think Ararat Eagles, too, you just mentioned, have a lot of loyalty there too, with a lot of players like the Sheglin girls that have been there for a long period of time too. Thanks, Saleen, for your time.
Pleasure, Megan. I'm looking forward to having a glass of champagne with you tonight.
I think I needed one before I did this today. The current score is 47-37. We've got the three-quarter break, still 10 goals. I think Murtoa outscored Ararat in that quarter. To their credit, they regrouped, and we're going to have a very exciting last quarter. We'll just take a breather and I can finish my sandwich.
Megan, you are blitzing. Isn't she good?
Couldn't be better.
Isn't she good? I mean, you wanted us as a model of what to do. Well, seriously, we set the bar high. It's, you know, and your timing has been
Amazing.
Oh my God, the timing it's added to the day. But you've added to the day. It's so good.
Here we go.
Yeah, you've got yeah. Well, hopefully that's going to be a she doesn't want to come last weekend. I'll go and see if I can answer people. I'm really trying to get Tina to go here. Your mum doesn't want to get up. I asked Lauren.
Welcome back. The fourth quarter's started. Ararat had a centre. Actually, Ararat's taken a couple of passes to get it in. And now it's converted and it's taken the score to 48-37. I'm just going to ask Navani Woods to the microphone, just trying to get a broad range of players today. Navani is a 15 under player, and she actually played representative netball last weekend and maybe the weekend before with the Wimmera squad. Navani is a promising basketballer. If you don't know, the Woods family got Cass. Has put a lot of work into the Ararat Netball Club and the Ararat Basketball Association. We've got DJ and Jezza were players, phenomenal players at football, and Navani's the baby. We've got Sabaya playing in the C grade. But Navani, can you tell us how you went today? And then I'm going to ask you about your Wimmera netball. So today, how'd you go?
We played alright, but the end score we lost by 1, which was a bit sad, but yeah.
Yeah, you had a big game then. It's a tight game.
Yeah, it was.
What positions did you play today?
I played wing attack and then centre for the rest.
So quite a fast, agile player, obviously, from your basketball.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you've been doing the last couple of weeks with your Wimmera netball? Let's start. Where have you been training, and maybe who your coach has been?
We've been training in Horsham, and our coach is Anna Lake, which is the Dimboola 15s coach.
You've made lots of friends through this experience?
Yeah, I have.
Yep. You've had 2 or 3 tournaments you've been to?
2.
Do you want to talk us through the 2 tournaments?
The first one was a Chuka. We won all our games and then lost in the semis. And then the second one was Bendigo, and we lost. So the first round we won, and then the second round we end up losing and then lost in the semis again.
Right, so that's commitment too, because you've been all the way to Beulah, then had to go and back it up at Bendigo the next day. But to get the Wimmera team to a semi-final was a big achievement. Your coach was happy?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. Is this your last year in 15 unders? Do you go up next year?
No, I still have another year.
So you could be promising, hopefully, another go at a Wimmera side next year as a top age 15.
Yeah, should.
I think Navani's going to have a very promising future. Just about your basketball, you're still playing basketball?
Yep.
Yep, they two complement each other. You can see there's a bit of a theme throughout today. A lot of successful netballers have got a bit of a background in basketball too. Navani's played in Ballarat too, as well as domestic here in Ararat.
Yep.
Don't like talking about that because Navani's a Saints girl and we're an X's family in Ballarat. So some tough games coming up. Navani, have you sussed out your rest of your draw for the rest of the first round?
Yeah, Saints will be a hard game, but Dimboola should be quite easy.
Saints next week?
Yep.
And it's indoors on the Pine. Nothing better than playing on the inside on the Pine.
No.
All right, thanks Navani for your time and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
All right, we've got the score 52. Delaney McLaughlin's just converted. Ararat's sort of broken away a little bit more. Delaney McLaughlin posting up very well. It went very smooth then. It's gone from Bly to Taylor, straight into McLaughlin in the goal circle, and the score's 53-38. We've got the B graders are currently warming up too. They'll have a tough match today. Nice to see all the B graders have got their commemorative tops. We've got long sleeve tees for the 50-year reunion, which all the girls are wearing today. Shay's just passed to McLaughlin creatively, or a bit sneakily. Eyes are down with the defenders, and she's quickly put off a pass instead of the shot. Delaney McLaughlin converts against 54-38. 16 lead when it was 10-all about 5 minutes ago. So you can see how it stepped it up a notch. Be nice to know what Tani Walker how she addressed the team at quarter time. McLaughlin's just done a beautiful shot from mid-range again, 55-38. We've had a change too at quarter time. Julia Boatman's come back on at wing defence. Great talking on the circle, trying to guide the defenders, and she's caused an error at the top of the ring. Well done, Julia. Ararat currently trying to bring the ball down the court. Lovely cross-court pass into the space, opened it up by Boatman. Into McLaughlin, who's used the circle, who's taking a shot. And no, missed. Shay's rebounded. Oh, needs to bend her knees and push. Oh, and contacted, so we've missed that opportunity there. I'm going to welcome to the microphone now Tracy Laidlaw, who we mentioned earlier when we interviewed Janine Adams. Tracy has been, as I said, with Janine, instrumental in building the foundations of a lot of Ararat Junior Netball, because she does the Ararat Junior Netball on a Tuesday nights with all the little tackers. Was a junior at the club and was a B grader, and a senior player, has been a coach, as an administrator, and Tracy's currently working on the club's strategic plan, so she has got Ararat through her blood and her rich history with her family playing at the club. Tracy, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Megan. Very good of you.
We'll start about your history at the club, where you started, and a bit of maybe about your, I think your dad was a TUI medalist too, and just step us through your years at the club.
Yes, I have great memories of being here at the club, watching my dad. I was only a little tacker, but I still remember running out to half-time and talking to Dad and things like that, and it's just wonderful. It's just red and white in my blood. Dad won the 1963 TUI medal. He was the big ruckman, Jim Bonner. They used to call him the bombshell, or, you know, all those sort of things, the blonde bombshell, because he had blonde hair. He could have played AFL. He went down and trained, but he had too much country blood in him, and he came back home. So he played with Ararat for a very long time and also coached here. I've also got my uncles that played here, John Antonio, who was a TUI medalist, and his son Glenn was a TUI medalist also. So I've got my cousins that have all played here at Ararat as well. And then I came along in about 1982, 83. I'd played a lot of netball in the district around the areas, and then I thought I'd better come back and start playing, to my dad's great delight. And yes, I played 14 years in B grade, in between having children and different things like that. As Megan alluded earlier, I did play quite a few games, many seasons pregnant. No one knew about it. Janine Adams knew, but that was the only one. I remember going around to Megan's house one day saying, Megan, I'm probably about 4.5, 5 months pregnant. Are you happy for me to continue on playing into the finals? And she said, well, I wouldn't have known. So, yes, the skirt just got a little bit bigger, and it was a lot easier back then. If you didn't tell anybody, they didn't treat you any different. So I was sure some of my children were going to be born with black eyes and all that sort of thing. I remember playing on Big Bird, and she was, oh my God, she was metres taller than me, and trying to block her out of the goal circle, which was a feat on its own, and then having a child in your belly trying to help out as well was rather an epic.
I'm just going to interrupt there. Those who don't know, Big Bird, that's Karen Bird, who played with Horsham United, and she's got a daughter, Rebecca McIntyre, and Sammy Bird, who played with, I think, United at the time too, and Rebecca McIntyre's now at I think one of the Horsham district
sides. I believe so. They've gone out to the Horsham district. Horsham United have now amalgamated with another club at Horsham and district. So, yeah, there's lots of history, lots of wonderful memories. You make some fantastic friends along the way, and then watching those people's children and developing those children in junior netball is just one of my great delights. And watching them, and I always made sure I wore my Ararat's top when I was coaching these girls, just to give them a little hint that that's the club to go to. I never pushed it verbally, but I always made sure I had my Ararat's t-shirt on, and they got to know very quickly that that's where my alignment was. And they just have developed so well. And the girls that are playing in the 15s and the 13 and unders were some of the loveliest little girls that I coached, and they've been fantastic.
Tracy, is anyone out there now that you coached?
I'm just trying to have a quick look. Georgie, I would have helped at Ararat West Primary School when she was attending there, which I believe I coached her. I do remember coaching her at lunchtimes to get ready for the winter carnival.
We're currently 58-40. I think Ararat's got control of this game now. We're probably halfway through the quarter as well. Tracy's coached numerous junior sides at Ararat too. Can you recall what age groups you had?
I started with 15 and under, and I coached them for 3 or 4 years, and then I went down and did the 13 and unders, which are an absolute delight. I love that grassroots age where they're just raw and just ready to take on anything that you tell them, and they believe everything you tell them as well, and it's fantastic.
I think it's pretty special too after your own kids have played at the club. I know Alice is still playing netball. She's coming up from Balan today, and your 2 boys played football at the club. It's a pretty special person to hang around and volunteer to the capacity that you do.
Yeah, I think it's something for yourself as well, and it's just in your blood. So you just put your hand up, whatever you can do. I was the cappuccino lady for many years. I've sort of backed away from that this year because I've sort of started to feel a bit guilty. I should go and watch my children play their netball and football, and which I do, and on the weekends I possibly can. But it's been wonderful. It's been great that we're doing the strategic plan this year. That's a really forward move for the club, and it's a plan that will be looking forward for the next 5 years, and hopefully we can implement all that and get it going. You know, as David Hosking and Jamie Tainer and myself were talking, if we're ever no longer here and no one knows what to do, they only have to look at the strategic plan and say what our forward thinking is. So it's fantastic.
I think a lot of people don't realise what goes on behind the scenes too. So thank you, Tracy, and thank you for everything you do for the Ararat Football Netball Club.
Go Rats!
The score is currently 63-41. We're in the last part of the last quarter. Lots of errors being caused by the defence, and they've been a standout today, and I'm going to have to leave it there. I've got some other things to do. So thank you for listening today, and I dare say Ararat's going to go on and complete a great defensive game with a good win here. So thank you for listening, and those that are listening and coming tonight, hope to catch up with you all tonight. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm too rude to go. You too. I've got to go. Okay. Yeah. Well done. Feel free to take over mine. Don't take it over mine. Good. Going to the computer.